Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Hope you're doing well. It's a rainy day where I am on the east coast of New Jersey. However, not nearly as rainy as what I've come to see that New York is experiencing right now. A whole bunch of flooding, and not the only place on the East Coast, but it was intriguing to me that New York was experiencing that because it's usually something drastic going on, like some storm system. So I was confused, like, where's this storm surge coming from? And then I after some YouTube investigating, I realized that it was Ophelia that kind of like came back in a sense and is dumping rain now on the East Coast. And I just thought we were all out of the water, literally, with Ophelia, but alas, she has come back again. So what I heard in my spirit is spin the block. I heard that. I was like, wow, what? Why? And coincidentally, as the two go in hand, the reason for the intensity of this surge is also due to the supermoon that we're in the midst of right now. Talked about the full moon in Aries yesterday. It talked about how it is, in fact, a supermoon, which means there's a closer proximity to Earth, and that affects the tides even more extremely than on a normal day, which we know the moon affects the waterways and the tides, but it surges it even more powerfully so. And then with Ophelia coming back around, which I still don't quite understand because I didn't dig that far as to why, but to me, from a spiritual aspect, like I said, I heard spin the block. There are a lot of energies that get sent out on a typical full moon that are not necessarily in the highest vibration. People take advantage of that frequency to expel energies that are for, let's just say, diabolical purposes. And even more so when it's a surge of a supermoon. It's an opportunity usually that people take to really manifest in that power. And maybe perhaps, or I guess perhaps by the ways of how the nature is speaking, it's like spirit spent the block to do a quick cleansing. Like whereas people thought they were cool to send out these energies and expel these intentions, and they were out of the water or out of clear to do so, spirit spent the block, even in a natural sense, as above, so below, to say, no, you don't. Wash that thing right on away. So I hope that you are sending out positive intentions. First of all, you're not really supposed to be manifesting anything in particular on a full moon anyway. If you know, that's not really the time for that type of intention. But like I said, the adverse energies that be use that to surge their force. So congratulations, you're going to get what you were expecting. But as I said, it's spinning the block, so you can expect it for it to return right into your hands and probably surged even more extremely, just as the tides are surged, and in an intensity that you probably didn't even send out. It might be coming back even worse. So again, for the rest of us that are just intentional about keeping the peace, keeping ourselves safe and sound, and focusing on our most positive intentions, resting, rejuvenating, releasing energies that are not high vibrational so that we can be regenerated for a new surge of life force as it be so. You're encouraged to definitely stay in that vein. You're on the right track. and thankfully, I'm saying this, and it's not even just, I can't even say it's just because I'm very serious. I heard what I heard and I said what I said. But thankfully, in light of all of this, at least so far anyway, there haven't been any fatalities on account of the storm surge. They haven't had, it's reminiscent of hurricane, I think it was Ida, that came through some months ago and did some damage to New York unexpectedly, but it's not having the same fatality, at least not as of now. And it's been pretty bad, at least for the past 24 hours. There's been an alert and an alarm for this severe weather. So I pray certainly that continues to be the case, that anyone that's in the direct line. I'm in New Jersey, so we're on the coast just as well, but honestly, it's only just a bit more than a sprinkle here right now, even though it's been pretty gloomy all week. It's not really doing much damage at this time, but anything could change at any minute. So just as I pray for my own protection where I am, I pray that those that are in the direct line of the storm and most impacted stay safe, stay dry, stay protected, have some safe place to go if they need to leave their homes. Travel is protected because the kids are still in school and people are moving to and fro, back and forth from work. So hopefully everyone stays covered in the spirit of the most supreme source as ordained to be so, and this storm just passes on through as it's meant to be. I really feel like the surgence was more of an energetic cleanse, strength card, than it was meant to be a physical attack. But on the other side of things, anybody that sent out negative energy for this full moon was really taking a gamble. You probably saw that it was Aries energy and thought, yes, war, rage, we can use this. But you obviously didn't read the fine print because of those north and south nodes. It's like an immediate recipe for a return to sender, like almost immediately. So, and as I said, as above, so below, which is why we're seeing this surge return as it is. So I don't know, I don't know what to say about people that just can't stop doing the most, but hopefully y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn one of these days. Hopefully it's not after the demise of your life in totality. Hopefully. All right, so we got the Strength card, the King of Wands. Let's see what else we got. That's way too many. Lover's card on the top of that heap of cards. Oh, another heap. Can we just get a single card, Spirit of Truth? Oh, okay, we got two. I can deal with that. All right. Wow. Well, alrighty. I can certainly deal with that. Pardon my loud neighbor downstairs. She doesn't know the meaning of the inside voice. She's either totally quiet or totally loud. Those are the only two octaves she knows. So we got the Strength card, the King of Wands, the World card, and the 10 of Pentacles. Wow, wow. All right, what is this telling us? Well, someone, let's see. I'm wondering, see, I'm thoughtful about the Strength card. Is it actually a feminine or is it a state of being, a state of mind? That's what I'm feeling. I don't know. We'll see, I guess, when we get further in. Most of the time I'm reading it as like, it definitely is a state of being. Obviously, it's the Strength card. It does represent, it doesn't have to be a specific person or a physical energy per se. But what I'm seeing is that the King of Wands is looking in that direction. So either he's recognizing that essence within himself and valuing it, or recognizing that essence in that of someone else outside of himself and valuing it. Now, with the King of Wands, we know that he has a passionate eye. What he sees and he likes, he wants. So it could work either way, whether he's seeing someone that's just extremely strong-willed, that has self-control, also with the Strength card, that has ascended beyond her pride and ego, or his pride and ego. Like I said, it could be either one, but it's clearly like more of a feminine in the picture. Pride and ego. Or it could, just like I said, him really recognizing the high values of his own quality. It's almost like he's seeing himself for the first time. That's what I'm feeling. He's seeing himself refreshed in some new way, in the true essence of what a King of Wands is, who is all of those things. As a matter of fact, the King of Wands in an exalted position definitely has a exercise of self-control, even through his passion. He knows how to balance his ambitions and not let them ultimately run him. They don't impel him to do anything outside of what is justified. He is courageous, but not fall, what's the right word, but not subdued by his pride and ego. Definitely, actually, too. Oh, hold up here, hold on. Because with this being, the King of Wands being an expression of Leo energy in the okay. Hold up. Because I'm seeing something different now. Both of these are Leo energy, first off. But if this is, in fact, an actual feminine that a King of Wands is admiring, let's just say, it is so because there's something about this feminine that just completely, like, I'm getting like a purr coming from this lion right now, whereas usually a roar, right? But the King of Wands, in the state that he's in, is recognizing that, somehow, some way, this feminine energy is soft enough on the outside to ultimately erect his wand, but something about the internal is what melts his heart, that calms his roar, calms his rage. That's what it is. So there's that aspect, because like I said, the King of Wands, and then we got the line. The King of Wands is a Leo energy, more or less, but it can be any of the fire signs. And the Strength card is absolutely an expression of Leo energy with an actual lion in the card. So it's like him looking at himself that's why, okay. This is funny. He's looking at himself, yes, maybe even admiring his level of self-control, because in some way, shape, or form, he would want to like pounce on this feminine vibration here. Like he's very attracted, is what I'm trying to say. Like there's something so tantalizing about whomever he has his eye on. So in one breath, he's admiring that he's able to control his urges, control his impulses, where maybe perhaps, of course, in a less mature aspect, he wasn't always able to. And he's also recognizing how, as passionate as he feels incited to be, there's still some level of calming that this energy offers him that he doesn't possess on his own. Like he's a lion, So for the most part, he's intrigued. Maybe that's exactly what is the attraction in the first place, that there's something about her that just calms his rage and soothes his impulses and keeps his attention all in one shot. And all of it collectively is just magnetic for him. Now the World card is here, And that could be that, but like I said, it could also be him seeing just simply his own maturation, his own evolution in ways that he's perhaps gone from answering more to his lower natures in some regard, as we kind of attribute to, say, the Knight of Wands, who's a bit more impulsive and perhaps even compulsive at times, to being reserved and controlled and strategic about, or more reserved, I should say, about how he projects his passion. He's admiring his own self in some way, shape, or form. So we got the World card here, and that's definitely a great accomplishment. Maybe that's what it is, that he has matured and evolved, to this point of kingship. Maybe he had to face some great challenges. What was that? I just saw, that was definitely, it had to be an orb. That was weird. Wow, that was weird. It was just like this light fleck that was in my eye, and I followed it. It was weird. I know it couldn't have been captured on camera, but anyway, I'll take that as some confirmation at this time. So anyway, the World card is definitely a completion of a cycle or some big accomplishment coming to a close, to a finish, and a successful outcome in the upright. And then we got the Ten of Pentacles, which, seems to me to be the reward or the outcome of this accomplished cycle, and this being the beginning of the new cycle to start. So there's that. As I said, the World card to me is given the accomplishment has been the evolution of this character in the first place, that he has evolved from catering more to his carnal being, maybe even consider, the rage of a fire sign, particularly Aries, which we are in the full moon in Aries, right? That maybe he was tempted to, in some regard, to act out of rage, incited to act out of that lower nature, to pounce, to roar, to just like completely tear some shit up, devour something. And I'm not just talking about in a sensual way, although there's that implication, but the other aspect of the King of Wands is they can be very ferocious and fierce warriors, so once they set their mind on a target, let alone an enemy, there's really not much inhibition there in terms of how they may strike, So perhaps that was the overcoming. Yeah, now I'm hearing it now. That's the self-control and the will, that he was able to subdue his rage, where usually maybe he was a firecracker before, like just flying off the handle as soon as you rub him the wrong way, or as soon as you present yourself to be an adversary. He would pretty much, get at you, for lack of a better term right now. And there was some level of will and strength and what's the right word? Will and strength, definitely still courage. And that was the courage in a sense as well, that where he usually acts out of his courage in a physical sense or an energetic sense, the courage on its upside, similar to the North and South Node situation, where we have Aries on the north and Libra on the south, where he usually would be incited to just lash out one way or another. It took a different courage for him to be more reserved. And damn, I'm having a hard time finding this one word. It's in the vein of self-control, but it's one word that I'm trying to find, and I know it's going to come to me later. But he basically was able to subdue his urges to act out of anger in a different way than what he's ever been before. And that was the challenge and the charge of which he was ultimately set to break a certain cycle by way of overcoming his innate response to do so or be so. And so that was the completion of a cycle, or perhaps even a generational curse, or just something that was keeping him bound from maturing into the state of kingship, where, you know, he has sovereignty over his energy and it's not relenting to any other source. Because, you know, like when you allow people to pretty much like anger you to a response, that's you pretty much giving your power away, more or less. When you allow other people to pretty much reign over your creative force, when they can pretty much make you get angry, and you're not able to control that urge. So him doing that successfully, as I said, with the World card, it's an indication that it was successful for sure, is what has afforded him not only the completion of a cycle, where now perhaps he used to almost be afraid of when he might be incited to anger, you know, almost afraid, you know, some people that can even be afraid of themselves, of what they're capable of if put in the wrong situation, which may have kept him a little bit more isolated. I'm hearing all this in the spirit, but it kept him more isolated and more than isolated, almost just very distant from normal life, you know, because he was always trying to like contain himself from just even the signature or the potential to be incited to rage, for fear that he may not be able to control it. There it is. Like, consider a lion, you know, once it's on the prowl, is nothing you're going to really do to tame that beast. And that's probably how he felt energetically, that once he was pushed over the edge, there was no coming back from from that ledge. And God help anyone that was in his warpath ultimately. But there was some test and trial, maybe many tests and trials, I don't know, but in some way, shape, or form, he's proven not only to himself, and that's why he's looking at outside in amazement, like, wow, I really can do it. I really am controlled. I really can trust myself. I can trust myself with other people. That's so dope. That's a beautiful thing, because I know this type of energy, and I know how. You know, from the outside looking in, people look at them as like volatile and, you know, hotheads and temperamental and things like that. But it's just an insurgence of passion that they embody. And when it's not directed, you know, when it's not channeled properly, sometimes it just builds up until, you know, one fuse, and all of a sudden it's just an explosion. But it's not because they're necessarily bad people. Like I said, it's just mismanaged energy. A lot of times they didn't really have the support or the tools emotionally to know how to filter that aggression and that emotion, so it becomes rage as opposed to it just being passion purely, you know. And then when you're not comfortable on how to express it, you don't really know where the fuse might get lit, so you try to keep yourself away from other people. Like, I know this energy very well. But anyway, celebration for this guy, because obviously he has surpassed even what he had expectation for himself to do, or that's why he's looking in amazement, almost attracted to himself in this form of balance and strength and stability, perhaps that he's always wanted to operate in, but didn't quite know if he was capable of it, and didn't quite know how to get there. He's done it, and now this is the reward on the other side. 10 of Pentacles, which is first of all, this is speaking to that family aspect of breaking generational cycles, or just cycles in general, like toxic cycles, perhaps. This is the complete octave of that, where this is generational wealth. So on account of his the great feat he's overcome and the success on the other side, now he's ultimately opened up a new channel of prosperity. And it doesn't have to be money, for sure, but it's prosperity in an energetic sense, that fuel doesn't continue to filter into his legacy, whether it be in a physical sense with his actual children, or in just by way of association, that legacy kind of following him, like consider the reputation of someone that has that type of energy. He kept himself secluded. That was the word I was trying to find. Like, he kept himself secluded so that he wouldn't perpetuate that legacy. But there's only so long you can really do that, right? It's almost like trying to keep a lion caged. It's only but so long that a lion can truly survive being caged up, So it's going to need to release, and in his case, to just be human and live live a regular life in some regard. So anyway, like I said, not only has he been able to reap the benefits of transforming that legacy for himself, or that reputation, into something that's more light for himself to live forwardly, he also, when you change that type of vibration in yourself, where you're incited to rage and now you have self-control, it undoubtedly shows up in your physical material life. Consider someone that embodied that type of energy may not have been, if you can't even trust yourselves around people that you F with like that, consider you really might not want to go out and work a regular job where people piss you off every day, and you have no reason to have self-control on whooping their ass, for real. So it could have messed with his money. It could have messed with his stability. It definitely could have, it could have been an imposition in his physical energy and his creative energy, wanting to do things and express yourself in other ways, but feeling reserved or resistant to do so for fear of just what fright lurks around the corner. That's just crazy to me. That's amazing. But let's see where else this goes, because I could get stuck there. I guess I have got stuck there as my incense is like halfway done. Am I taking this? Yeah, I'll take it. It's 3 cards. Oh, it's 4. All right, so we got the 3 of Swords, which is about, in this case, I'm seeing it as like some past heartbreak or trauma and toxicity, as I said, which definitely is in alignment with the Strength card, having some past experiences that would have incited you to that would resort to that type of those type of tactics for ultimately protection. When people act out of anger and rage, it's really more them protecting themselves than it is them being offensive to others. It's more defensive than it is offensive, is what I'm trying to say. So we got the 3 of Swords here. In this case, it definitely implies that there's been some healing from those experiences, or at least some new understanding, or some openness to perceive it in a different light. With the Strength card here, not just submitting to this is how I am type of vibe, or this is how it always was, or I'm this way because, life ain't never been fair to me, or ever, that woe is me type of, self, feeling sorry for self type of energy, and very much so not willing to take personal accountability in another regard as well, not to diminish or deflect the experience that one may have had. They are all valid for sure, but as you mature, as I've said, you get to a certain point where the accountability is on you to decide if that is the energy that is most productive in your life to carry on with. Even if your dad did it, your uncles did it, your mom made you mad, your sisters got on your nerves, your brothers, were always inciting you to fight or whatever. Even if you came from a place where you literally had to always be on the defensive because your surroundings were so that they cause for that level of insecurity, and you better be ready for war or you might get got. There's that too, which is definitely not uncommon in our country at all. So all of that matters, but it still comes down to the individual that's expelling this energy to decide whether it matters for them, and if so, actually, does it truly matter? Does it have value to the point where it actually is stabilizing or rewarding in a physical way, or is it actually taken away? So he made that decision, obviously, because here in the Six of Wands, he decided to move away from what was very turbulent waters, perhaps this spirit of heartbreak and disappointment and cycles of toxicity, the impacts of trauma. He made a intentional mental note and decision to move away from those things, maybe even physically so, to move away from perhaps even those environments, people, places, and things that would even incite him to want to act out in that way in the first place. There was a separation that has happened, or there's an intention for a separation that has happened to move forward and to something that's more peaceful, more conducive to the person that he wants to be. Doesn't mean that he still can't be the King of Wands, that one that you better not mess with of all the kings. Like he's that power, that guy with, that powerful king that, like I said, once he considers you an enemy or some type of obstruction to his path, he will remove you. He can still be that in essence, but with balance, and with mental stability to back it and support it, to know exactly who the enemy is and when to strike and when, to fall back, so to speak. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles here, which brings me to this aspect again of there being some either feminine inspiration. I mean, there always is, isn't there really, that there's some dame of sorts, or just some ideal even of partnership and legacy and life that he wants to live, that he knows wouldn't be of value in the position that, or at least maybe hasn't really attracted the highest vibration of that in his life based on who he had been. So he sees the high value in someone that is a nurturer, that is committed, that is, these are all the attributes of the Queen of Pentacles. Like she's the most high value queen in the deck. She is most certainly a descendant of a Ten of Pentacles dynasty, if not the ascendant of it, if that makes sense. Like one way or another, she's not foreign to generational wealth, either having had it or embodied it in some way, or having a mind to create it. Either way is prosperous, to be fixated in that frequency. And she not only knows how to be abundant and prosperous, but she also knows how to maintain that energy of abundance, to nurture it and to magnify it, to multiply her riches. And by way of riches, as I said, the Queen of Pentacles is definitely a mother vibration. She is committed to her family life, and she values nurturing her home space and anyone that's connected to it. So it's not, she could see high value in her children. What I've been seeing by way of the Ten of Pentacles is, I hear that now too. Him completing this cycle was not just about, that's good. Not even just about unlocking money. It was about him, because he put that energy to rest and learned how to, you know, what's the right word? He learned a better filter for it. It opened him up to the possibilities of inheriting these gifts that have ultimately been stored up. You know, for him being the chain and curse breaker as he was, maybe perhaps there were gifts that weren't available for other ancestors or predecessors before him to acquire, that have been stored up for lifetimes perhaps, or even just generations of opportunities to expand and express himself in a different function. But because they couldn't overcome that great feat of anger and fury, they often perhaps either missed connecting with that inheritance at all, or at least with the magnitude of it. You know, the 10 is the most you can get. There's nothing to be discounted when you got 10 of Pentacles here. And it's like he because of his actions in this lifetime, he's gone back and gotten gifts that have been left behind or forfeited from generations past, and he secured, oh, that's so good, and he secured the same for the generations and the legacy that he's leading. So it's like some new vitality that he's experiencing in his physical and energetic being, and he's like, that's what's inciting him to want to be able to share it. I get it now. And he wants to share it with someone, like I said, that is on that vibration now, that matches, that he can trust ultimately with such a fortune, whether it be spiritually, physically, materially, whatever the case may be. It's of high value at the 10, and it's plentiful. And he was already set on a partnership, but see how here, him looking at this feminine energy, I see it now. It was like him seeing the reason why it almost looks like, you know, she's looking more like angelic to him in the position that he was in before, where he sees him, this is, oh my gosh, this is how he sees himself in comparison to whomever he idealizes as a match. So seeing whom doesn't even have to be a specific person, but the ideal woman that he knows in his spirit he would want, like he has a passion to be with. He was seeing himself as a beast. It's like Beauty and the Beast right here, literally, with the Strength card. This is so good. So when he was seeing himself in that vibration on account of him feeling like he didn't have any control, he didn't have any fortitude, you know, no foundation that was secure enough to be around other normal people, let alone to bring someone into intimately. That's why there was this dissension here, almost a disconnect as to why he kept himself secluded and isolated away from any possibility of connecting with something that he could potentially F up, is what I hear. But he's looking, so that's why he's looking at her, and she's in all white with this infinity sign, because that's his ideal, you know, to have a forever type of functioning relationship, you know, with that level of potential. By the way, my oh my gosh, and this, I didn't even say this today, but my teabag message today says your potential self is infinite. Okay, so tie that on into this. He saw the potential of what he was worthy of, but questioned the value of himself to be able to match it, you know, and let alone to live up to that standard. You know, he's well within the ability to protect and to take care of, but there's also that aspect of him that was worried about his level of self-control to actually hurt those that he loves, or particularly one person that he loves, you know, or the ideal woman in his life that he would love to be with and to protect ultimately. So he was more worried about being hurtful than he was protective. And so he stayed disconnected. But then he got over himself, literally, with the World card, and found that he had access. It's like, because of one strong feat that he overcame, Now he has the support of the celestials in an even more powerful way, maybe even in a material sense. Like I said, everything comes flushing in when you start breaking generational curses, you know? So he has that. Now I'm curious about why he's feeling like why he's in this Nine of Wands looking at the Queen of Pentacles. Is that him? This is the Queen of Cups. So he's knowing now that he has the self-control, he has the value, he has the temperance, he may even have the finances or the stability in some regard, but where he's questioning himself is on his ability to love someone that he idolizes as the ultimate love. Got it. Be on account of the heartbreaks that he's incurred. So although he's moved away energetically and mentally from that trauma, there's something in him that still is contemplative about whether or not he's a wounded warrior, you know, in all regards with this Nine of Wands. There's something about him that still wonders if he has what it takes, because he sees this Queen of Pentacles as not only someone that's grounded and stable and secure in her own right, but someone that's worthy of unconditional love, ultimately. I was going to say divine love, and that's true too, but at least unconditional love. Like the best love you can possibly get for the most loving queen in the deck is ultimately what it comes down to. And because of what he's endured and encountered, perhaps by way of his life experiences, his upbringing, maybe even other relationship experiences, it's like he's proven himself in every other area, but is still thoughtful about his ability to maintain this high frequency of love that he knows that she deserves. Oh, let's see what we got. Oh, that's a lot. Am I taking it? I'm gonna take it. Fuck it. All right, so we got the oh, it's not that many. Oh, but he's gonna take that leap though. All right, so let's see what this is about. Okay, so and that, see what I'm saying? Like here, he's seeing himself by way of the love energy, the cups, as a Knight of Cups as opposed to a king. So he's still a little bit bruised by way of, you know, I just feel like he's probably just not valuing he's looking for his evolution to be evident by way of love, but without the experience. You know, like he's obviously been defeated in some regards, or it has faced some defeat and been laid to rest as a matter of fact as well, on account of investing his energy into people, places, and things that didn't ultimately return reciprocally, you know, that didn't return fairly. And this is him. Not only has he continuously taken leaps of faith into situations that prove to be, you know, a detriment to his well-being, I definitely see this as him being thoughtful about how to do so, but perhaps being defeated by his own mindset still, or in regards to him wanting to see some evidence that he's ready for love, you know, because right now how he looks to himself is as the Knight of Cups. Like he's still a little wet behind the ears, undeveloped. Not that he doesn't, like he wants to offer that cup to this otherwise single lady right here with the Nine of Pentacles, but how he's seeing her in this reflection of her being the Queen of Pentacles is that she's doing fine on her own. And he's wondering, like, what I have to offer, especially coming from the Queen, what I have to offer in this little cup is really going to add value to what she's already been able to do for herself. Like, is it even worth? He keeps beating himself down over and over, thinking about, is it even worth him coming to make this offer, given, like, once again, him thoughtful about, is it best to stay away? You know, would she be better off me allowing her to just live her life like it's golden as it already is? Or do I bring this cup of love that I'm a little bit unsure about because I really don't know truly what's in it because I haven't quite tested it out yet? Amid all he has is the evidence that speaks to what he's not capable of in love by way of his past experiences. Notice there are no other cups on the board. There's the wand, which he can be very sure about. There, even in this Six of Swords, he has a staff, you know. He knows the sword energy all too well. He is now even equipped with the material aspects of life, but cups are still a contemplation for him. He doesn't feel confident as he does in his other vibrations at this point to offer his emotional self to someone that he values so highly that he wouldn't want to ultimately taint, wouldn't want to leave her worse off than what he found her ultimately, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So he stays in this place of contemplation that often probably leads to mental exhaustion, and then definitely becomes a defeated mindset because he's not cultivating the confidence to move forward into the unknown. He just keeps replaying the reasons why and the evidence as to why he probably, this trauma, that's what it is, this sword energy here, keeps replaying this trauma and toxicity and maybe even disappointments, hurts, pains, literally heartbreak that he's experienced in his life from people that were supposed to love him and people that maybe he even tried to love. And he plays it over in his mind over and over again until he ultimately talks himself out of moving forward and taking that leap of faith. Wow. Wow. All right, let's see what else we got. And that's the reason why he's such a wounded warrior, because he has so much passion for the potential. Look, your potential self is intimate, that too. Infinite. It's the intimacy. That's what it is that makes him nervous. He knows he's got the passion. He can protect. He can even provide. He's even honorable. He's too honest with himself, as a matter of fact. But he's nervous about the intimacy, that, you know, that sensuality and love that he hasn't felt comfortable. He's a lion. He knows how to roar. But remember I said, I see a purr in that lion, and that's what's been trying to release itself. It's like he's afraid that when he finally releases, it'll be ferocious and less of a feline, like where that purr type of cat-like vibes, that's a little bit more sensual and sexy and soft and delicate. He's afraid that that's what it is. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. He's afraid that he's too ferocious for the sensuality of love, that she's a delicate creature. This Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles energy, and he wants to be able to offer her that delicacy of love in the most sincere way. But he feels like if he even tries, it's underdeveloped as a knight. And then if he gives it his full, it goes to his go-to, is ferocious as a lion. So he's nervous that there's, this is so funny. This is literally a Beauty and the Beast story. This is so freaking funny. I'm cracking up inside. Oh, but look at who he is, though. He really is the King of Cups. And he's got so much built up emotion under the surface. Yeah, that he's like, he's felt this protection here with the Seven of Wands is back to his original energy, but it's not about him lashing out anymore. It's like all this that he has going on. Like, he has so much under the surface. Like, he still isn't even giving himself the credit, because although he senses himself to be the Knight of Wands, where he feels his love pales in comparison to what he's offering to, he actually is the King of Cups. But there's so much suppressed emotion, just like how he learned to break the chain and break the cycle here. He gets to do the same here, where he's going to have to allow himself to kind of lower that guard a bit and just let the waterworks flow, let the floodgates open. He has so much love to give in this King of Cups energy, and he's afraid that it's going to be overwhelming. That's what the energy is. That's the fear, that's the apprehension. So it's like he's almost holding back what he would want to give intentionally, because he's afraid that if he were to really release it, it would be like a tsunami. And that it might actually that it might, like, what's the term, like, push the object of his affection away. So it's doublefold, because not only does he have some still darker emotions that maybe perhaps he's not sure he's fully resolved on account of his past experiences, the trauma and things like that. He has that, right? I feel like he could even, so let me stay on one thought. So he has that, the unknown of just how deep his emotions really do lie, just in his own regard, like how deep it goes for him personally. But then add on to that, or pour into that cup, all that he feels for the object of his affection, or just simply for the ideal of love itself. He definitely has a desire to be in love here as the King of Cups, but he's nervous and apprehensive and resistant to either hurting that object or even being hurt by, because he knows that when he really releases, if he allows himself to release, it's literally going to be like a floodgate, and there'll be no stopping it. Like, he loves hard. Ultimately, he's going to completely be enamored with God, God willing, if he actually gets up the courage to take that leap of faith, and it's all that he expects, or all that he ultimately, like, sees it to be. I want to say, like, fantasizes it to be, which could be with the cups energy here, but there's like this ideal, this woman, how he idolizes her, and if he actually gets her by God, he just can't even imagine how overwhelmed he may become with emotions, let alone how overwhelming the release of those emotions may be. And so that's his reason for protecting himself and calling himself protecting. Like, he's just keeping his guard up, simply put. He's keeping his guard up, where there's not much being able to get in or get out at this point, because he's not willing to lower his defenses. Oh, baby. Your potential self is infinite, and the one that is for you, yeah, look, he's still, like, he's afraid. He's afraid to be rejected. I'm gonna take another one, because I just know it's not ending there. I refuse to let it end there for you, baby. No way. You deserve love, and the one that you love this damn much, they deserve you, because most people are not even that careful about their energy. You know what I mean? Like, they're not even careful enough to care, like, especially one that has come from as a King of Wands, who could certainly be impulsive by way of his lust at worst, passion at best. But even the passion could be overwhelming for him, because the King of Wands is just assertive that way, where they see it, they want it. And that he's already been able to have some reservation in that regard, which is one of the hardest things to do, to curb your impulses as a human. That's hard to do in itself. So it's like if he's looking for the evidence, that is the evidence that you've done the hardest work of all. And you've still, at least by universal standards, have proven yourself to be worthy of not only the gifts that are owed to you, that are destined to you, but those that have been left behind by ancestors. This, as a matter of fact, this is a part of that inheritance. The love piece is not just limited to material gain or even his own gifts and powers and abilities and money and stability and houses and cars and whatever else people value in life in a material sense. But even the energy, being revitalized to see yourself in a different way. I feel like this has also been a regeneration of his confidence, that allows him to now, like I said, feel safe being exposed to the public and being in communion and communication with others, because he now knows that he can trust himself with himself. You've already done the work to prove. You've shown and proved the universe. You've basically overcome the biggest feat in your life that has shown you the reward that you're worthy of. Now all you got to do is just transfer, transmute, translate those results into love so that you know that you're worthy of it. You've already seen the evidence. It's like he would want to almost like be in a relationship, one that clearly isn't even gonna, that's what I'm seeing. That's what this, another aspect of this Nine of Pentacles is. It's like he almost wants to have a trial and error, a trial run is what I mean, because it will be a trial and error if you do that, by the way, sir. If you demean yourself, and there's no disrespect to the Nine of Pentacles, because we already know she has high value. But if you demean yourself to something less than what you want and deserve, and ultimately what you need, let's just keep it a buck, you will err in the way of receiving the fullest benefit of love that is due to you. You may actually put yourself in another karmic cycle, not because there is anything wrong with her. She may be wonderful, but when you are diluting, that's what he's doing, diluting your love for the sake of fear, that's like a recipe for karma, because you won't be fully engaged in whomever this is, not wholeheartedly, because your mind and spirit will always be somewhere else. And she won't be receiving the fullness of you, because you're just testing out the waters, literally trying to see if you got what it takes. And it's not going to prove itself that way to you, because that's not where you're meant to be proven. Like, that is so interesting. All right, let's try to get one more. I'm nervous. What's this last card? Give me one more card, Spirit. That's too many, and I'm not going to take it, but still thoughtful about the choices and if he's going to get chopped once he ultimately makes a choice. And I also see this as the outcome, because the Queen of Swords can ultimately be like a divorcee, or the ex of a counterpart, i.e. the King of Swords. That if you're not going to be truthful about what you really want, you could have a whole lot. And it may even be justified for you to want to test the waters, because you're so unsure about what you have to offer. But it's not going to work out the way you're ultimately going to defeat yourself. It's not going to be the results that you want. It's not going to prove anything. It's actually going to perpetuate the worst of what you already believe, because it's destined to fail when you're not operating in your highest integrity in every way, shape, and form. You've already done it in every other way. In love, you're going to have to be that fool and take that leap, my guy. There's no way around it. And you're going to have to be brave enough to weather the tsunami. It's like the storm, right? Just when you thought it passed here, and it's Ophelia. That sounds like some old ancient hoe. No disrespect. But it's like you thought maybe he tried to dismiss the urge, like, nah, this is that. Yep. He tried to dismiss the urge, like, man, nah, I'm not ready. I can't do it. Like, I think I'm gonna just try to just figure this out, test the waters, get my feet wet a little bit, maybe have a relationship, see how it goes, see how I do. And then after some time, maybe if I do okay in that, then maybe, she look all right now. In the meantime, she look like she doing fine without me. She don't really need me. I might just make her life more complicated anyway. So maybe I still got some growing to do, some maturing, and then we'll see after that. Man, Ophelia spent the block like, what you said? And that true New York vibe, like, what you said? You gonna do what now? I don't think so. Yeah, look at that. That's it. The queen of, yep. You gonna spin that block and go get the love of your life. That's what you gonna do. And stop playing these games. This is destiny right here. This is like, you could look at it either way, where it's nostalgia, right? So in one way, I love this ending. In one way, he's seeing the possibilities of past experiences. But in another way, this is a love that's already, it's like, it's so familiar that it could have even been a past life love. And that's why it's so anxiety driven, because he's been down this road, not just in this lifetime, but perhaps in other lifetimes. And that's also what the 10 of Pentacles is representing. It's like it's coming back around, perhaps the 10th or 11th time at this point, for him to finally get it, literally get it. That he's probably run this same cycle in lifetimes past, or has been susceptible to it based on the choices that his predecessors have even made. Literally a King of Wands, someone that's a discerning choice maker. That's a definite choice maker that knows how to take action on a thing, sometimes without even a thought. They just know what they love and they go for it. He's doing way too much thinking about this one thing because the stakes feel so high. But this, as I said to the 10 of Pentacles, is the completion of the inheritance. This is the love that was passed, perhaps that was passed over, that was passed on, that in every lifetime there's been some fear, some exchange of fear, maybe even between him or her. Either one, it could happen either way or in both ways. That someone's always been too afraid to just fuck it up. That it's held so much value. It's been so delicate. Look at those little white flowers. It's so plentiful. It's the ideal of it. Remember I said it's like a fantasy almost. It's almost too good to be true how he sees it. Even her seems almost too good to be true. He looking at her like she almost a damn angel. It's almost like too good to be true that, God forbid, if he actually gets his hands on it or gets into it, it might either be everything that he imagined it to be, or that he won't be honorable enough to match up to everything that he imagined, that it shows itself to be. It's just like so much fear is what it is. So he rather keep rejecting himself, which is ultimately self-defeating, than he's more comfortable with having no love at all. This is what it is with this Four of Cups. If he's more secure just rejecting the possibility of a love so vibrant, which is in the Ace of Cups and this Four of Cups energy, that is too much to consider. So he rather reject that and go for what he's been going for in the past, menial love over and over again, because that's a lower risk of effing up than it is for something like this, where maybe he feels like he don't have no more chances. Like if I mess this up, what else is there to look forward to in life? For real. Let me at least see what I could do, and then I'll feel a bit more confident to flex my muscles here. But this is saying like, no, you don't have that luxury, bruh. You don't have that luxury. That timeline is done. This is do or die at this point. The Fool card is like, this is the new beginning. Zero, literally zero chances to do this again. Like perhaps this is the last lifetime for you to have this go round. You know, the stakes are high because if you don't take the chance this time around, where the aspects are greater than perhaps they've ever been. I mean, you got the 10 of Pentacles on the board. It don't get no more supported than that, than the 10 of Cups, honestly. So if you don't take this chance, and it'd be different if there was evidence here that he's still a F-boy, he's still, you know, not willing to be supportive, not willing to, he has the will. He's coming up as the King of Wands with the Strength card. He's proven himself already to the universe with the World card. He's gained the rewards of showing and proving himself. He has he has the right perspective in wanting to attract a high value woman, not just any old woman. He knows what he deserves ultimately. It's just this last test of whether or not he knows of what he's worthy of. Do you know how worthy you are? Do you know that the potential of you is infinite, that there's more to you than what meets the eye? There's so much deeper and greater for you to offer someone outside of yourself, let alone to experience of yourself in the first place. That's the last challenge. And I believe he'll make it. I believe he'll make it. Like I said, when I saw that Fool card, I know he's going to take the leap. I don't know in what, I don't know how he's going to evolve into that leap at this point. But it's definitely a matter of timing, especially divine timing with this Six of Cups card, because this is something, it's just destined. And the only person that can decline it at this point is himself. He's the Fool in both regards in this energy. This is literally like Beauty and the Beast. See how he's like big, like towering over her, and she's like a little girl. And it almost looks like Beauty and the Beast vibes, like the scene of the town and stuff like that. I love this story. This is making me so giddy. But anyway, King of Cups, King of Wands, obviously King of Pentacles in some regard. You got it, dude. You got it. You just got to believe in yourself. Believe in what you've already proven to yourself. You don't need to know if it works, if the cup works too. You already know the wand works. Trust me, that's good enough. And you gain control of it. That's even better. You have been able to support yourself. You have the right mentality in terms of what you idealize, even to have healed from this heartbreak in some great deal. You've proven enough to yourself. How else do you figure you'll be able to prove yourself in love but to receive it and accept it? There's no other way, guy. And here is the happy home, happy wife, happy life scenario that you idealize, that you want, and that is yours to have. And it is passionate, so you won't have to forfeit your passion for the way of love. It all synergizes together. It'll be just as highly valued as what you want to express of how you feel, or even what you feel, and it'll be a nice mix. Don't worry your pretty little head in this Four of Swords, like exhausting all mental possibilities in yourself, because in fact, as the T-back says, you're infinite. The potential of this situation is infinite, and the possibilities are infinite. That means whatever you put your mind to, so shall it be. And if this is what you are putting your mind to have this happy home, happy life, stable, secure, after two people have ultimately gone through some great challenge or great feat to get to this place, this presence, you know, that's what you'll have. What you put your mind to in the adverse is also possible. It's infinite in all ways, quite honestly. And that's just how powerful you are as the King of Wands, that you can literally wield anything that you put your will into. That's the power of you. And we got the Six of Pentacles here, which is about balanced community. Yeah, like this is amazing. This is what it is. You know, where you may have felt imbalanced or unfortunate, you're not in that position. That's what I'm hearing. Like you're seeing yourself as this lower natured, what do we call it? Like derelict. And so, not, is it a derelict or invalid? I don't know, but you seeing yourself in this beggar position when you should be seeing yourself as the diplomat, the one who ultimately has the power to make all things balanced, to give and take fairly. You know, that this is equal give and take, gift giving, balance, harmony, and community. And not only will this love be that within its own confines, it has the potential to inspire that outside of these gates. It has just the, you know, consider you're already an inspiration for the feat that you've overcome and the ways that you've allowed yourself to acknowledge. Now, with receiving the wholeness of your inheritance, love included, it will ultimately put you in a position to bring balance to your surroundings in an even more impactful way. That this great love, even if it's just being the example, like I said, sometimes I see, well, like I have said, I see this card as like influencers, you know, particularly social media couples, creative couples. Now, sometimes it can mean that it's a facade, like it's not real what you're seeing on social media. But in this case, with the Six of Pentacles, it's very much so authentic. It's real. It's as balanced as it looks like it is. That means, let me give you the confirmation and affirmation that what you visualize is that and more. That is even better than what you idolize, I should say. That you'll be even, and it'll be that so to others as well. Like, it's important for me to keep saying that, because if you can make an impact on other people in an authentic and positive way, just by the way of just living a happy, healthy life, then that speaks greatly to what it is you're truly harvesting on the inside. That's why I'm using the outside in to affirm and confirm what it truly is. It's just as stable on the inside as people perceive it to be, is what I'm saying. And it's just as stable as you project it to be in your wildest imagination. You have nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. You are the diplomat in this situation. You are the one who ultimately has the power to create the balance, you know, to make this fair and equal. You have been ordained and what's the right word? Not really ordained in this case, but it's like a diplomat would be elected in a sense. You know, like you have been authorized, elected, exalted in some regard to bring balance to your life, to the one whom you idolize as your object of affection, and to those that glean from the crumbs, the mere crumbs that the potential of this relationship could share, just by way of it being an example of what a good, stable, healthy, powerful relationship can look like in real life. There aren't too many examples of that anymore. And you have the power to project that and perpetuate it, hell. Because this is a continuance, you know, as the T-Bag says, it's potentially infinite, as you are potentially infinite. So it literally can go the distance for as long and as far and high and wide and deep as you believe it has the potential to do so. All right, so you're the key holder here. You're the master of your fate. In every way, shape, and form. And I have faith in you wholeheartedly that you will make the best decision for all overall. All right. So whichever side you fall on, hunty, congratulations, because I hold this in high regard. This is truly going to be a love story for the ages. I'm declaring it. Happy endings. For sure, happily ever after, forevermore. It is so, and so it is. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day, and the weekend is vastly approaching. So be safe, be sound. Keep your projections and affirmations high, your expectations high is what I mean to say. We're still riding out that full moon, don't let yourself be pulled apart in those two directions of the north and south, but continue to call in balance and harmony with yourself by way of just grounding yourself in what is true right now. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. What can you be grateful for in real time right now? All right. Thank you so much again. Until next time, peace.